Hi everyone. So I decided to make this video to discuss my job and what I do. So I'm a crisis counselor and I currently work at a hospital here in New Jersey. Don't want to tell the name, just for my privacy. And I wanted to tell you what a crisis counselor do, and there's some of their responsibilities. So number one, a crisis counselor basically provides services to individuals who are in psychiatric distress or seeking psychiatric treatment. What I mean by psychiatric distress, most people who come in who are overly anxious, may have some post-traumatic stress disorders, depression, schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorders, bipolar disorders, or any other psychiatric issues or disorders that they are facing. And what I do is I do a full evaluation to determine if they need psychiatric hospitalization or outpatient services or other psychiatric treatments that can help them with their disorders. Crisis counselors also go out in the community too. So I go to people's homes with the company of a police officer. I go to the jails in that community. I go to schools. Crisis counselor, when I say I mean the crisis counselor, will go out, even out and on the street to meet people who may be dealing with some psychiatric issues. Now, the process is after they have been evaluated by myself and with a psychiatrist, it's our determination to see what is best suited for them, which are involuntary hospitalization, voluntary hospitalization, or outpatient treatment. Now, if they meet criteria for outpatient treatment because they are not at risk to themselves or others, their insight and judgment is basically okay, and they appear to be able to follow up with outpatient treatment. For voluntary, those are the people who need hospitalization, but has the insight and judgment to determine that they will best have services while in the hospital and can make that determination on their own. And they're not at risk to making bad judgment. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but they're not at risk of trying to sign themselves out when they know they need to stay and complete the treatment properly and get the medication that helped them to live an effective life. And then finally, there's involuntary treatment. And involuntary treatment is a little bit more intense. Those are individuals who are severely unable to make any decisions on their own because of they're too psychotic, they're severely dangerous to the self, which I mean by they have active suicidal thoughts, they may have active homicidal thoughts. The voices are giving them demands to even hurt themselves. When I mean hurt themselves, not eating, not caring for themselves, not maintaining their housing, appears to be disheveled. All that determines that their insight and judgment is so impaired that they cannot make that decision to stay in the hospital, and they may most likely will best suited in an involuntary facility. And before that involuntary hospitalization can even start, there's another process. It's called, in the state of New Jersey, we have a screening document. And that's when the social workers fills out a screening document telling why they need involuntary hospitalization, do their presentation, and what is going on with them. The psychiatrist would do a physician document, and with that screening document, that patient is now hospitalized. Now, length of hospitalization is decided by the treatment team, which is the social workers, psychiatrists, nurses, and other facilities that are working with the patient. Also deal with the insurance, how long the insurance company is willing to pay for that person to stay in the hospital, or how long they'll pay for extended stay in the hospital, psychiatric hospital. And that also plays an account for involuntary. Now, voluntary, like I mentioned before, is when the person makes that decision to stay in the hospital, sign consent forms, and they'll stay in the hospital. But sometimes a patient has the right to sign themselves out before the treatment is over. For example, a patient might be there for 2 or 3 days and say, you know what, I feel better. That medication I've been taking while in the hospital has helped me deal with my issues, my symptoms. I'm able to make a appropriate decision to sign myself out, and they will sign themselves out and follow outpatient treatment. And so that's a little bit different. Crisis counsel also will do follow-ups. We'll call and then make sure when a patient is discharged from the hospital, if the patient's okay, if the patient is compliant with outpatient services, is compliant with medication, if they have any other issues that may hinder them to continue on with the treatments given to them while out in the community. Another thing I just want to mention that's really important, a crisis counselor are most likely social workers, counselors who has a license in counseling, and mental health workers who have a degree in mental health. So crisis counselors are basically those individuals. So I'm going to repeat it one more time. So they're social workers, counselors, and people who have a study in mental health. And yeah, we have some people who have a master's level in psychology, but those are the 3 types of people that work in the crisis service field. Crisis counselors do not provide medication. Crisis counselors do not do individual therapy. Crisis counselors do not have outpatient services. A crisis counselor basically is there to provide a service in the hospital community to determine if the patient is in need of psychiatric hospitalization or any other psychiatric treatment. Yes, we do work with children, we work with elderly. And I say work with, I mean we evaluate children, we evaluate the elderly, we evaluate people who are incarcerated, and we also go out into nursing homes. And because people say elderly, they think someone in their home. No, we go to the nursing home too, and residential facilities. So that's about it about a crisis counselor. There are also bachelor's level crisis counselors too in the state of New Jersey, but it's always best to have a master's because, like I said, things are always changing. Facilities are always making new policies. So yes, you can get your master's in social work or master's in counseling or in mental health studies. That would be great. Or behavioral health, I should say. Behavioral science, not behavioral health. Apologize for that. Behavioral science, a degree in behavioral science. We also evaluate those who have issues with substance abuse, heroin, cocaine, whatever substance abuse they may have issues with. We do that too, and we also refer them to facilities that deals with substance abuse and mental health. All right, so I hope that was helpful, and everyone have a great day. Thank you for listening, and if you are interested and you want me to discuss any other things about crisis counseling, just write a comment on my comment down below. Subscribe, I might have more videos coming out. Check out the Joseph family, and have a wonderful day, and hit the notification bell. Bye.